Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking all about face primers, and I have several of them because there are several days of the week. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. Now, as you know, I have my online beauty consulting service. This is a one-on-one Zoom chat with me where you get to ask me any makeup or beauty related questions. Maybe you have a makeup kit and you need a fresh set of eyes. Go ahead and book a session today. Okay, so today we're talking all about face primers. So what exactly is a face primer? Why do I need it? What is it for? So I like to think of a face primer as almost that last finishing touch that pulls your makeup together, but you need to apply it first. This is going to be the first step to your face base. I will be the first to admit that I have not always been a face primer girl, but over the past year or so, I have collected several of them. So clearly it is something that I've added to my routine that is now indispensable. And with a good primer, you can go ahead and use less foundation, less concealer, and so your overall look looks fresher, looks lighter, and looks more natural. Who doesn't want that? So I am 34. I have dry, dehydrated skin. I tend to look for products that are going to be glowy and radiant. However, a primer can also target areas that are oily. If you're someone who has an oily T-spot, T-zone, like in the middle of the day, if you notice yourself getting oilier, a more mattifying primer might be for you. So let's dive into my primers here. I have actually set these up in a couple of categories because we're going to go ahead and start off with primers that have SPF in them. Now, a lot of these have skincare in them, some of them don't, but these ones here, the first two, have an SPF added. And I have to say that a nice primer is excellent. It's part of like a really beautiful polished makeup look, but it doesn't beat good skincare. This is just like an added cherry on top. And again, you have to apply first. So the first one here is from NARS. And in my opinion, this could be part of like an greatly underrated makeup product because this is the NARS Radiance Primer. There is one for oily skin that's more mattifying, but my favorite one is the Radiance Primer. This one has an SPF of 32, so it comes in a squeeze tube like this. This is what the product looks like here. And when you blend it out, it just blends into a beautiful peachy hue. It's not too milky, it's not too white. It's a nice peach. It's not too pink. It's really just the perfect peach, and it has a slight sunscreen scent, which I find delightful. It reminds me of summer, and it just gives you such a beautiful finish. This, I love this on like a really good skin day. This with concealer, that's all you need because it really brightens, gives you radiance, gives you glow, and a little bit of sun protection as well, but I like to wear sunscreen apart. But it's so beautiful. It's so natural. It doesn't have a chunky glitter. There's no glitter particle. It's just so beautiful. Like, look at my hand. Look at how healthy. This looks healthy, sun-kissed almost, just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And this one here is so underrepresented here on YouTube, and it's really, really gorgeous. Apart from the SPF, this is pure makeup, but we are moving on to a second primer with SPF, and this is from Clé de Peau. This is the Brightening Enhancer Veil. So this one here is makeup, but also has skincare components with an SPF of I believe 32 or 35. So it has some SPF. You have to give it a good shake. And this one here is much more fluid. So I'm gonna try it on this hand here. So it's more drop-like, almost more like a serum. And this one here is milkier. It has pink pearlescence, but I think depending on your skin tone, you know, if you're much darker than me, much deeper skin tone, this might be too fair for you because as you can see, it does look a little bit milky right now. Now this one here, so just to compare, you can see this one does have a little bit more of a white cast. But on me, I do like it. I think on my face, I probably use a couple drops less. Now, the Clé de Peau one here is really to help blur. So if you have texture, if you have pores, it's really a nice refining, brightening veil. It's really just to give you that sheer veil, almost like an Instagram filter, but in a bottle here. This is what it does. And as you can see, like the veins look camouflage. It does look like a nice sheer veil on the back of my hand here. So if you want that blurring effect, if you like Clé de Peau and their skincare components and their active ingredients, I think this one here is a nice option. This one has a slight cosmetic scent. It doesn't have an SPF scent like the NARS one, and it's really serum-like, water-like. It's also hydrating, and it really feels like a skincare serum when you do apply it. Also, the Clé de Peau brightening veil here is really geared towards if you have dark spots, sunspots, uneven skin tone, hyperpigmentation. It's really geared towards evening that effect. So if you have those conditions or if that's your concern, this one here is really made for that. That blurring effect is also for uneven skin tone. Moving on, we have another one here that's makeup and skincare, but this one does not have an SPF. And this is from Chanel. This is the base, the brightening base Base Illuminatrice, and this is a glowing makeup primer. This is moisturizing, plumping, and a really nice radiant primer. Now, this one here is definitely for my mature skin queens, my dry, dehydrated skin, because this one here, look, it's not running, it's not moving. It truly feels like a thick moisturizer. It has a slight cosmetic scent. Let me go ahead and blend it out just to see if I can get a smell. But this is the primer here. So it feels thick, it feels rich, it feels nourishing. So if you have wrinkles, fine lines, anything texture-wise you want to fill in and plump, because this is plumping, this is moisturizing. This has a nice fresh scent. I wouldn't say it's perfumed or anything like that, it's just like a nice fresh scent. And it does have a nice glow to it, but it's less milky white than Clé de Peau from before. And it's really just this nice thick moisturizer. This one here is infused with hyaluronic acid, so that's where you get that intense and instant plumping of the skin. Everything is filled in, the fine lines, everything, because it does also have a blue microalgae. So again, it's skincare and makeup. So it's really, I would say this one here from Chanel is more if you have more deep wrinkles, fine lines, anything like that, where you really want to just plump and make your skin and your face just look really nice and juicy and hydrated. It does also have brightening to it, but I think for me, this is going to be an excellent primer for winter when everything is drier and harsher and you just want to instantly add more hydration, more hyaluronic acid, just fill in and plump and hydrate. This one here is great because you saw it really squeezes out like it's this thick, plumping, moisturizing primer. Okay, so moving on to Dior, we have the Dream Skin, and I have been subsiding off of samples here. I've had many samples, and yeah, this is it here. So this, I would say, is more skincare than makeup. Think of this as your last final step before makeup. So you do all of your skincare, you apply your SPF, and then you apply this, but it's still technically skincare with makeup to it, which is surprising because most of these are makeup with skincare. I would say this is more skincare with makeup. And that routine, skincare first, sunscreen, and then primer, goes for every single primer here. Primer is the last thing you put on before you go into makeup. So this is the product here. It's runny, it's not too fluid. I think it's like a nice balance. It's not the runny, watery serum from Clé de Peau, but it's not quite as thick as the Chanel one. So this one here has niacinamide. This is great if you have pores, if you have enlarged pores, if you have texture. This is really going to help refine the grain of the pore, really just give you that instant blur with a little bit of a peachy rosy glow. The B3 vitamin in here is also to help transform the look of the skin, reduce the appearance of spots, uneven complexion. So not just texture, but also if you have hyperpigmentation, dark spots, things like that, it's going to work on that as well. And this has a scent. It smells like skincare. It doesn't smell like sunscreen. This one doesn't have a sunscreen, but it just smells like skincare, like a spa. That's what this smells like. And this one here, it's really great if you have dull, uneven skin because it has glow as well. And so here we have Chanel versus Dior right here. I don't know, I'm trying to see what the big difference is. I would almost say that the Dream Skin looks more natural, but let me know what you think. I'm doing these side by side to help you guys out and just give you a review here. But it's been several minutes and you can still see that the Chanel one looks very plump, very hydrated. And I would say that maybe Dream Skin looks more natural. Again, it's giving me like a soft veil, like a very sheer Instagram filter that just sort of fills everything in, refines everything, and gives you a nice glow. I would say that the glow here is definitely less milky than Clé de Peau. And if I'm not mistaken, the Dream Skin, you can actually purchase or repurchase the refills. So instead of having to purchase the whole tube again, you can just go ahead and get the refills. Now, moving on to Sisley, we have the Double Tenseur. Now, this is a lifting and firming and toning primer. This is a gel texture. So this is what it looks like here. It's a bit runny, it's a bit fluid, but it feels like a cooling gel. And this is for lifting, firming, and toning. So if your concern is wrinkles, fine lines, maybe just adding more definition, sculpting to your face, this is the primer for you. So when you're applying this on your face, definitely massage it upwards. You know, just fight gravity as much as we can. And this instantly fills in. It feels a little bit tacky. It reminds me of any sort of lifting, sculpting face serum. That's the sort of texture. It's not overly tacky, but just a little bit. And I have to say, this primer here, this is the one that I use when I want my makeup to last all day, like 18 hours, impeccable. This makes your makeup last so much longer than anything else. Like these all work to, you know, enhance your glow, make your makeup last longer, but this is the one that it's basically like super glue for your face. So if you want your makeup to last all day, this is also a great product to get. And if you look at the ingredient list, a lot of the ingredients in here are there to moisturize, to soften the skin, but a lot of them are for toning, to make your skin look tighter, to give it a lift, to smooth things out, and just sort of fade away the appearance of fatigue, of sagging, things like that. It's not a facelift, obviously, but if you're someone who is concerned with firming, toning, things like that, like if those are skincare products you use morning and night, I think it would make sense to go into a primer that also does the same thing, just to extend the longevity of those desired effects. All right, moving on to some Charlotte Tilbury. Now, in my opinion, this is just makeup. I know that there are some skincare benefits to this, but this is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have the shade 4.5, and this really is I think it's makeup. I know that there are some skincare in here, but really to me, this is just makeup. But one thing that I love about this the most, which I know is a very weird, nitpicky thing, when you open it, you have your applicator. You don't have to use your fingers. You don't have to scoop any product out. You just go like this and apply very quickly. It's really nice, I have to say. As someone who tries out a lot of makeup, I do like this little aspect. So you just go like this with your wand. You just put on as much as you want. This is a glow booster. So you can apply this underneath your foundation on its own as like a perfect no makeup day. And this kind of gives you that like J-Lo glow. Like, look at this. This is makeup. I know that there are some skincare items in here I'm going to talk about in a second, but like, look at this. This is just this hand is J-Lo and went to the Mediterranean and got a beautiful glow. Like, look at this. I just think it looks so radiant, and it really gives you that Hollywood red carpet glow. And this hand here looks so smooth. This hand with the Sisley one looks like it got like a facelift. Looks like everything is being tucked back here, but this is just you know, these different products. This does have this like glossy oil in here to just smooth everything out. I think it's part of like the smooth gliding application, but this to me, yeah, it's just makeup, but it's gorgeous. It makes your skin look so youthful, so radiant, so glowy, and it does last a long time. All of these primers here, I find that they last basically the whole day. They don't break up, they don't roll, they don't pill, but this one here, again, I love just the application. I think it's just very, very convenient. It's really easy. Also with the Hollywood Flawless Filter, you can in fact purchase the mini size. So if you don't feel like committing to a full size one, I understand. You can go ahead and get the mini, but this one here, even though it doesn't have like active skincare ingredients in here, it really is gorgeous. I mean, you can't look at this skin and say, no, it looks fine. Like, it looks so healthy. It looks lit from within. It doesn't even look like makeup. It just looks like the healthiest glowing skin. All right, let's move on to our last two primers. These are from Chantecaille, and these are like sisters. They're not twins, but they're sisters of each other. So the first one here is the Sheer Glow Rose Face Tint. And fun fact, this is the primer that I'm wearing today. Many of you might be wondering, which primer is she wearing today after talking about all of these? I am wearing this one today. So the Sheer Rose Glow sort of looks like a jelly mousse texture. It's very wobbly and wiggly. I don't know if it's captured here on camera, but that's what it looks like. And when you apply it, it feels like a cooling gel texture. It feels like a gel moisturizer. That's the texture you get. The one ick that I have of both of these actually is that you need to use your finger, a Q-tip or something to decant the product, which is a little bit annoying. I kind of feel like this could be finessed a little bit more, I have to say, but that's the only little ick here. So let me go ahead and give you a swatch. I think I applied a little bit too much when I grabbed some to do an application on my face, but it worked out in the end. So this is what it looks like here. You can see it just like sort of melts like an ice cube onto the skin. It really is gel, so it just melts into the skin right away. It gives you a rosy glow, but I think it's definitely less milky than the Clé de Peau one. It's brightening. It has a botanical peptide blend in here. So these two here are skincare with makeup because it does have a rosy tint to it, but it really is a lot of skincare benefits. And this one here, I find is really blurring. If you have pores, textures, anything like that that you want to just blur a little bit and just refine, I do find that the rose tint one is really nice for that. Just sort of fills everything in, smooths everything out, and gives you that really nice radiance. And I'm not wearing any highlighter. I'm wearing this, the Vita Lumière Aqua, the Givenchy loose powder. And this is what it looks like. It looks very radiant, very healthy, like lit from within, a beautiful glow, but also refines and blurs and gives you a really beautiful veil in a very natural way. I would say that this is beautiful, like as a primer. You could mix a drop into your foundation if you wanted to, because it is a little bit rosy, but it's not that milky. But let's say you wanted to lighten your foundation, a drop, you could mix a drop of this into your foundation just to lighten it a bit. As a primer, I would say that it helps me look radiant, refreshed, youthful, well-rested, all that jazz. And I just think it's a really nice primer. So the sister of this here would be the Anti-Aging Face Tint. This one here has a similar texture. I think of this as like a pudding with jello combination. That's the wobbly texture that you're left with here. I would say that this one here is incredibly similar to the Rose Face Tint. However, this one here is bronzing. So you could use this as a gel bronzer. You could use this on the points of your face where you're tending to be bronzed. You could use it like this. I like to use it all over. I use it as a primer, really, all over. That's my preferred method. And it has a nice scent. Both of these do. It kind of just smells like skincare. It smells like botanicals. And this one here is loaded with peptides as well, with anti-aging peptides and botanicals. A lot of the skincare ingredients you find in Chantecaille is found in the face tint here. So this one here, if you wanted to, you could use a little drop of this to deepen or darken your foundation, your tinted moisturizer, whatever it is. You could just go ahead and use a little dot and mix it into your complexion product just to deepen it a little bit. And so this is both of them here side by side. Honestly, this one here reminds me a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, just in that sort of J-Lo goddess bronzed effect that it gives you. And I really like both. However, I think recently, now that it's getting colder, I am reaching for my rose face tint a little bit more. Like when it was summer, it was this all day, every day. But now that it's getting a bit chillier, I'm going outside, but the sun isn't as strong. I'm not using this one quite as much. But I mean, if you ask me which one is my favorite, it really depends on the day, because it really, yeah, I feel like for all of these primers, if you ask me which one is my favorite, it's going to depend on the day. It's going to depend on the makeup and my mood. So there you go. This is my video on primers. I have a lot of really great primers. Like I said, it's hard for me to pick a favorite because it's going to depend on my mood. It's going to depend on my skin that day. What do I feel like I need to work on? That sort of thing. But like I stated earlier, when you go into a good primer before you do the rest of your makeup, you get to use less foundation, less concealer. So I do think it's important to use one because everything just looks more natural, more flawless, and you kind of look like your skin, but better. Your skin gets to breathe through because you don't put on as much foundation. So that's my take on it. But I would love to hear from you. Let me know which one is your favorite primer. I would love to hear from you. I really want to try the Tom Ford primer because Charlotte Holdcroft loves that one. So I think I should try it out. But let me know if there are any other primers you think I would enjoy. Let me know if you like this type of content as well. I really hope you take the time to subscribe because I talk a lot about luxury beauty and I think you would enjoy it. So on that note, I think that's all I have for you guys for today. So thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day and I'll see you next time. Bye.